Who are you? It's a simple question, but the answer can feel impossibly complex. You might say your name, your job, your roles in life, parent, sibling, friend. But is that truly who you are? Beneath these labels lies a deeper question, one that both psychology and philosophy have wrestled with for centuries. What does it mean to be you? Let's start with psychology. Neuroscience has revealed something fascinating. Our sense of self isn't a fixed entity, but a process. Different regions of the brain work together to create a feeling of continuity, a narrative. This self is like a storyteller, weaving past experiences, present sensations, and future aspirations into a cohesive identity. But here's the twist. That narrative isn't entirely reliable. Our brains edit memories, fill in gaps, and even fabricate details to maintain a coherent story. In other words, the you think you are might be more fiction than fact. Philosophy too has challenged the idea of a stable self. Thinkers like David Hume argued that the self is an illusion, a bundle of perceptions constantly in flux. Hume famously said, "When I enter most intimately into what I call myself, I always stumble on some particular perception or other. I can never catch myself at any time without a perception, and can never observe anything but the perception." In essence, what we call the self is just a collection of thoughts, feelings, and sensations passing through consciousness. Eastern philosophy goes even further. In Buddhism, for example, the concept of anatta, or not self, teaches that clinging to the idea of a permanent self is the root of suffering. Instead, it encourages us to see ourselves as ever-changing, interconnected with the world around us. This perspective isn't just abstract theory, it's a practice. By letting go of the illusion of self, Buddhists aim to find freedom and compassion. But if the self is an illusion, what does that mean for our lives? Does it make everything meaningless? Not at all. In fact, it can be profoundly liberating. Think about it. If your identity isn't fixed, then you aren't bound by your past mistakes, your current struggles, or the labels society places on you. You are free to change, to grow, to reinvent yourself. Modern psychology supports this idea. Research on neuroplasticity shows that our brains are constantly adapting. New habits, new perspectives, and new experiences can literally reshape who we are. This means that while the self might be an illusion, it's also a tool, one we can use to shape our lives intentionally. So how can we apply this in everyday life? Start by questioning the stories you tell yourself. Are they empowering, or are they holding you back? For example, if you think, "I'm just not good at making friends," ask yourself, is that truly who you are, or is it just a story you've been telling yourself? You have the power to rewrite that narrative. Another practical step is mindfulness. By observing your thoughts and feelings without clinging to them, you can begin to see them for what they are: fleeting, impermanent. You might realize that your anger, your fear, your self-doubt are just passing clouds in the sky of your mind. They don't define you. And finally, embrace the interconnectedness of life. When you let go of the rigid boundaries of self, you might discover a deeper connection with others. After all, if the self is an illusion, then the barriers between me and you start to dissolve. Compassion becomes natural because, in a sense, we are all part of the same ever-changing flow. So who are you? Maybe the answer is simpler than it seems. You are not your name, your job, or even your thoughts. You are the awareness behind it all. Infinite, adaptable, and deeply interconnected. And when you realize that life becomes less about holding on to an identity and more about embracing the endless possibilities of what you can become.